why you're here and why it's important for you to be here today.
Right, okay. Well, this country has a very long tradition of democracy. It is known as the mother of parliaments. Other countries around the world took the idea of having representative government from us, and it's extremely important to me because I have younger relatives, obviously much younger than myself, young though I am, and I want them to have the same advantages in life that I had and the same freedoms, and we are in danger of losing them all. This government is not interested in representing the people of the country. Its loyalties lie elsewhere, outside this country. They wish to impose non-representative government on us. The Parliament really is just the puppets in the shop window. It's the Wednesday afternoon puppet show. It's going to take a lot of doing for somebody to come to power. Hopefully it'll be Nigel Farage, who can actually make the blob, make the civil service, the Home Office, the police, the judiciary, the mainstream media, all of whom are now unfortunately very heavily influenced by left-wing politics that have no place in those institutions. They should be apolitical. And I really do hope we get a government that can exert control over the institutions and run the country for the benefit of its people in a neutral, non-partisan manner. And by the way, I'll just go and say this because you always get these accusations of racism. It is a question of living in a country where people subscribe to the same values. And I have relatives and friends and work colleagues of all different backgrounds, and they're welcome. They're good people, they work hard, they fit in, and if you believe in our values and wish to integrate, it's no problem at all. But no country can have people come and live here or live there, whatever country, who don't intend to integrate. And you can look at the whole history of the world for the last 1400 years. And unfortunately, in this country and in Europe in general, people don't understand their own history. It's not taught in schools. I mean, believe it or not, I know you think I'm 25, but I am in fact getting on towards 70, and until recent years I knew nothing about Islam whatsoever. I had no idea that Muslim armies had ever invaded Europe. I didn't understand the history of, for instance, the siege of Vienna when the Ottoman armies were defeated at the gates of Vienna and turned back. I didn't know that Spain was occupied. The name Andalusia meant nothing to me till recent years. That's the Muslim name for Spain. I didn't know that the Islamic armies had got into France and been driven out by Charles Martel. I didn't know any of this, and the last 5-10 years have been quite an education for me, because civilisations do end. And you can look at the Lebanon, which used to be largely Christian, and look at the state Lebanon is in, and Europe will end up as being Lebanon on sea if we're not very careful. You can also... I beg your pardon. I was losing the thread of my conversation there. You're going to have to go and clip the long silent bit out of your recording here, But wherever you have a large Islamic population, they seek to impose their views. And you end up at a point where even if they want to integrate, they can't, because there's no longer sufficient of the host population left. If you have classes in London schools where, say, 29 out of 30 pupils are recent arrivals from a non-European background, how can they possibly integrate? With the best will in the world, even if they want to. So I'm not saying that every Muslim or everybody from the third world doesn't wish to fit in, but it will be made impossible for them because there won't be a host population to fit in with, and the leaders of their own communities will, of course, constantly push them. to become more and more Islamic, and this is why you see businesses really having the frighteners put on them by people approaching them saying you will not sell these goods or you will pay us a fee. You know, if you want to sell this, you have to get a certificate to say that it's halal and not haram. You know, and these are things I've only recently come to understand, and more people need to understand. So, you know, hopefully, you know, we in Reform can do something about it, because of course, as you can see, we're all wonderful people. You know, we are strong, forthright, determined leaders of men, followers of women, and I see a big future for us.
Sound of that one.